I still miss my Samsung S25 Plus, but after switching to the iPhone 17, I'm not going back. So to give you some context, I've always been an Android power user for my whole life. I would have 12 hours of Spotify, 2+ hours of YouTube, and a couple of hours on social media, AI tools, and any other small app. You know, I was your average Android user, overly obsessed with specs, and just loved to be different. And I was low-key an Apple hater. So I think we already know where this is going. I'm gonna start glazing Apple, but before I start doing that, there are some things that I think Android just generally just does better. First of all is circle to search, or just AI in general, but specifically circle to search. A lot of people may think this is a gimmick, which it kind of is, but for me, it was incredibly useful. A lot of times when you're scrolling through Instagram, YouTube, just social media in general, you see a lot of products, skincare, clothes, anything that catches your eyes. And a lot of times, these content creators usually just don't mention the name anywhere. All you have to do is click the bottom of your phone, you have circle to search open, and then you can just find the skincare product immediately. It's also incredibly useful, like how I am doing with Japanese. So a lot of times I have these apps that you really can't copy and paste, and sometimes I just need to translate it just so then I know I'm on the right track. So having circle to search to instantly translate whatever is on my screen is also very useful. Now, the issue with iOS is that it does have a feature kind of like this. You have to screenshot your screen first, and then you can do the circle to search feature. So compared to circle to search, Apple's version is just not that great. Honestly, this is one of the tools I do really miss because I actually did use it quite literally every day, but it's not like I can't do it on iOS, it's just not that great. Another thing is apps. Now this kind of does go both ways, but first let me talk about on the Android side. So I think on Android, you really get more technical, powerful, intrusive apps compared to iPhone. So you have apps that need more permissions, apps that are on GitHub, you know, things that are more sketchy. Even though that may sound bad, there are some pretty useful apps I would say that you do get from this. So for me, mainly it is Wavelet, which is an app that allows you to unlock parametric EQ on any Bluetooth headphones you connect to. So if you don't know what that means, that pretty much just means that you can tweak the sound of any headphones you pair with. Another example of this like customization is launchers, which is something that you really don't get on iOS. So if you asked me this a few months ago, I would have been more annoyed about iOS not having these launchers. But to be honest, I've always found launchers to be kind of quirky and just has a third-party feeling, which they are third-party. You do notice a lot more glitches, stutters, and it just never looks as smooth as the first-party launcher. Take an example for One UI. I did use Nova Launcher when I was on my S21 Plus, and a lot of times it slowed down my phone a lot more and would constantly just have weird stutters. And overall, their animations have been kind of lackluster in my opinion, but you can make some pretty cool looking home screens. Pretty much, if I could kind of wrap up Android apps in a quick summary, I would say it is powerful niche customization. So these things I really did miss about Android. But here's the shocking part after switching to the iPhone 17. It's almost a downgrade if you think about it in specs. It's a much smaller screen and the battery capacity is a lot smaller. It also has less RAM, coming from 12 gigs to 8 gigs. But what I found with using iPhones in general is that whatever they give you is highly optimized and almost feels like they do have those higher specs. So for one is performance. Now, to be honest, the iPhone 17 actually does have one of the best chips. So that part is not really under spec'd. But day to day, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like my iPhone 17 is a lot smoother than my S25. All your main apps on iOS is always gonna be the more updated, efficient, and supported version of that app. So if you don't know, a lot of developers usually make their apps for iOS first. And that's because iOS is just a lot easier to make apps on. Because on Android, you have to do it for a lot more phones. So apps like Instagram, Spotify, I was like, damn, why do these apps really feel a lot better on iOS? So take example, ChatGPT. So if you're a student like me, you take a lot of pictures with ChatGPT. And the issue with the Android version is that for whatever reason, the camera just looks really blurry. And because of this, sometimes it actually just doesn't pick up graphs or words. So when I use the iOS version, even though the cameras on my iPhone 17 and S25 are relatively pretty similar to each other, on ChatGPT, it was like night and day. And again, it's not just that it's less glitchy, it's also more updated. Immediately, as soon as I got my iPhone 17 and I installed Spotify, I was like, why does this Spotify have so much more features? And it's because it's just the more updated version of it. So you get updates faster, and overall, there's actually, I would say, more niche apps on iOS. Now, these apps are not intrusive like the Android versions, but they're just normal apps that are just more niche. So take example of this app that I found called Bevel. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's pretty much like a health app that just takes whatever your Apple Health has and kind of puts it in a more palatable and useful way. So I can see things like my recovery score, my VO2 max, like pretty much everything about my health in one page. It's a very well-developed app, but because it's not that big, these developers just find it a lot easier to make their app on iOS. On iOS, everything is just so cohesive, like animations, apps, everything just feels like I'm the main consumer. On Android, I always felt like sometimes I would be the secondary consumer where I got features second, but on iOS, everything just feels complete. No worries, no nothing, no nonsense, just something that works, Like even though Android may have these extra apps, at least the apps that both of them have, iOS is just better. And it's not just that, it's also the whole ecosystem of Apple. Now, I actually did own a Samsung ecosystem and things have never felt this connected. So take example of the Apple Watch, which I did mention before. It connects to Apple Health first, and then from Apple Health, it goes to Bevel, it goes to my scale, that measures my weight, and it even goes to Strava. So when I buy a product that has a smart feature, I just know iOS supports it. Now, I know that's pretty generic, but like I said, just owning iOS is just a no nonsense, kind of weird for me as an Android user. I really can't express this enough as an Android user how much this kind of shocked me. And this also does go with my other Apple products, my AirPods, my iPad, and MacBook. Everything just has less friction. So with the AirPods, actually, after getting an iPhone, I'm able to switch between devices almost immediately. It's actually crazy how good this is. So I actually never knew how fast it was because I always complained about AirPods not having dual connection, which is where it can connect to two devices at once. But I think the way Apple does it is actually just better. So any non-Apple earbuds, so like Sony, you can connect to two devices like your phone and MacBook. And let's say you're listening to something on your phone, and then you can switch immediately to your MacBook and be listening on there, which is something very useful if you're a student like me in class who has both devices playing at once. The reason why I think the Apple version is better is because it's not just two devices, it's literally all your Apple products. So let's say I'm watching a video on my MacBook, then I decide to scroll through Instagram on my phone, it instantly switches almost like it was already connected. And then immediately if I go on my iPad and I want to translate something in Japanese, I hear it in my earbud. I'm like, damn, that was almost immediate. And then guess what? When I'm walking outside with my phone listening to Spotify, it connects immediately to my watch when I get a notification of an auto workout detection on my watch. And I really don't see Android having something like this. Maybe in China or Xiaomi or these other smaller brands, but especially in the US, Android has just been feeling, I don't know, kind of like Apple lately. So not only that Apple is feeling more like Android day to day, I feel like most people on Android can agree to this, but just the simple things, iOS is just better. It's less glitchy, it's more optimized, just less inconsistent. So even though Androids may be very feature rich, iPhones are just frictionless. And as somebody who has been trying to increase your productivity, I've really been using less of these quirky apps and just more of apps that just power my day-to-day, which are more common apps like Spotify and Instagram, and AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini. However, after switching to iOS, there are some things that I made fun of and I still can make fun of to this day. One of which is Apple AI. I already kind of did mention this already, but Apple AI is just not great. Now, I heard that they are teaming up with Google, with Gemini and stuff, but for right now, Apple AI is not really a tool. For questioning and stuff, I really don't mind that much because I actually never used Gemini or Apple AI to ask questions, but things like circle to search, I definitely did notice. Another thing that, just gets my blood boiling is the keyboard. I don't understand why there's no numpad on the Apple keyboard. I feel like numbers are pretty used quite commonly. Maybe it's just something I have to get used to. Another thing is just features on the keyboard, autofill is not great. When I saw the Apple keyboard, it just looks very, clean, but just not as useful compared to One UI's keyboard. And finally is autocorrect on the keyboard, which as a teenager, I use a lot of slang and kind of abbreviate a lot of words. And especially on the last word, if you say TN or tonight, it always autocorrects it to something else. And it's just incredibly annoying. Another like unoptimized thing is notification. Now this may be like a preference thing, but I feel like the notifications are just shown in a really like bulky way, and it kind of makes it seem like you have a lot of like notifications even though you only have like 10 notifications. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like a lot of times I just miss notifications. I still have my S25, and when I look through my notifications, like, wait, when did this even happen? I swear I didn't even see that on my iPhone. That is another thing I kind of find annoying, but I mean, millions of people use it, so maybe it's just me. And then also another thing that's kind of similar to notifications is the File Explorer or the Photos app. I don't know why, but I'm just incredibly confused on how it works. Like I swear a lot of times, like I just don't know where my files are going or pictures. I feel like on Android, it's super simple. You click download and it's right there, like, you know, but on iOS, I swear I download a wallpaper and then I go to like, you know, find the wallpaper. I'm like, where the hell did it go? Yeah, it was really annoying when I was first setting up my phone and getting a wallpaper. But again, these things kind of sound like I'm just not used to it, so I'm not too sure yet. And lastly is customization. Like I said, customization is getting better on iOS, and there are some pretty cool things with like the lock screen that I do find was really cool. But again, it's nothing like Android yet. And if we're just talking about first-party launchers, I actually do find it quite comparable to One UI's. Like I said, Samsung is getting a lot less, you know, experimental with its software, and that does kind of make me very sad. That's why I'm not that crazy about switching to iOS. You still can get pretty cool looking home screens and lock screens, but it's just not as much as like Android as a whole. So even though after switching to iPhone, I still miss all the features of Android, but I don't miss the friction. While Android may feel very powerful, this feels very complete. You know, after a while, I've been getting more mature, less obsessed about my phone. It just, you know, it just seems like my cortisol levels are just dropping using iPhone. So I will have a more dedicated review of just the iPhone 17 in general. If you couldn't tell, I really am just amazed by this phone. That's pretty much all I got. Peace.